married to Kathy. We've been married for almost 8 years now. We have 3 young boys. John will be 7 in June. Kellan is 4, he'll be 5 in August, and Hayden just turned 2 a few weeks ago.
So John is loving school. He loves all of his friends. He's a super social butterfly. He likes to make people happy. He's all about his iPad. He loves playing outside. And yeah, I mean, he's pretty typical little kiddo.
Hayden is our youngest. He is a bundle of energy. He's a total mama's boy. He loves to run and jump, and he loves to throw things. And he absolutely adores playing with his big brother, John.
Kellan came out very big. He was our biggest baby by far.
Kellan was a really good baby, and he met all his milestones. He was saying words until 13 months, 14 months, where he seemed to start regressing. And, you know, there was little things we picked up on. You know, the big thing is that 2, he didn't talk. But it wasn't even just the nonverbal, because that sometimes happens. Kids have delays with speech, but he just wasn't communicating in any way. So at that point we said, something's going on here. He was doing some other things that are sort of classic autism signs. There's something called hand flapping. There's something they called stimming. He'll take a toy and he'll rub it on his face.
Lost all of his words and didn't say anything for a really long time. Just lots of noises and like crying and whining if he's frustrated.
The county had sent somebody when he wasn't talking to help us, a speech therapist. And that's the person that first said, you know, you might want to have him tested. So, you know, you hear that news and it's pretty devastating. It's kind of like we knew in the back of our heads already.
We found out when he was 2.5 that he has autism, and we have had him in therapy and working a lot with that because he's nonverbal. So we've been trying to get him to communicate the best way that he can. And I think the biggest thing for us is not knowing, like when he is upset, we don't know what's wrong because he can't tell us. Sometimes we know because he'll either like grab his throat or mess with his ear, so he might have an ear infection or strep throat or something. But then there's other times where he just cries and cries and cries, and it's like, it's devastating because you don't know what's wrong. And I think as a parent, you just want to like help them. And fix what's wrong. So it's hard. I mean, he's like the sweetest little guy. So, and I think that, you know, people that are not in our situation and are always telling us, you know, how amazing we are. And they don't know how we do it. And I totally appreciate that and the support. But I feel like, you know, if it's your child, you're going to do whatever you can. I mean, it's your child, you know, who else is going to do it? You got to do it for him. So, yeah, I think that's just the hardest part, is not being able to help him when he needs help because we don't know what's going on.
So it's definitely, it is life-changing. And it's not, you know, as people say, it's not, you know, it's not the end of your life. It doesn't mean your life is over, but it's definitely different. It's not what you anticipated and not what you planned. And you just have to kind of roll with the punches and figure it out.
Ready? Whoa. Ready? You gonna run?
I think he is called like hyposensitive, so it takes a lot for him to feel things. So any kind of physical, like not rough, but like jumping, bouncing, like throwing him up in the air, that stuff really brings it out of him.
Daddy, it's really cool that we got Kellan to hold up the one.
We have a little trampoline. He loves to jump on it. He loves to be like, he loves pressure. So big, tight bear hugs and A lot of times, like especially if he's just really amped up or upset, I will put pressure on his face because for some reason around his face, he is all about the pressure. He likes it. And he will even put my hands on his face sometimes to show me like, Mom, give me pressure here. I need it.
Ready? Ready?
You know, with John, we know eventually he'll be able to take care of himself and have a job, and I feel like we're okay. Like we know he'll be okay. But with Kellan, he is not able to communicate yet. He has autism, which is a huge spectrum, and nobody can never tell us, you know, if he's going. You just don't. You can't see the future.
You know, when you have kids, you envision their future, playing ball with them, you know, watching them play sports, going to college, going, you know, doing all this stuff. And with Kellan, we have no idea what the future looks like. He might never do any of that stuff. He might never be potty trained. It's the rabbit hole I don't like to go down, but we do talk about it and think about it is what if, you know, what happens when we're gone? You know, I don't think it's fair to ask John to take care of his brother. But yeah, you know, it's something I don't like to think about, but it's a reality. I don't know what's going to happen when Kathy and I are gone, where he's going to be, what's going to happen to him. So,
And that's terrifying to think about who's going to take care of him after we're gone, because putting it all on John is just, I mean, that's not fair at all.
I'm always telling John that he's going to have to be Kellan's protector and his guardian, you know, and if anyone ever is picking on Kellan or doing anything, he's going to have to stand up for him. Do you want to take care of your brother? You want to
Yes.
make sure he's taken care of?
Yes.
You're a good big brother, buddy. We have a lot of friends in the community, like in the autism community now, that we have been in it for a while. And I have a lot of, well, not a lot, I have a few mom friends that also have sons with autism. So a lot of times if I don't know what the heck is going on or like what to do, I will text them and just say, you know, this situation. They're very supportive and wonderful, and say, yeah, I've been in that situation before and this is what worked for us, or, you know, give me some suggestions and ideas of what we could do. So AIM is something that we heard about from another family that has a child with autism. They knew about it and told us about it, and it stands for Adventures in Movement. It's a free service to any child that has a diagnosis, and I don't think they specify, just any diagnosis where they need therapy, any kind of developmental diagnosis. But they do a lot of moving hands and trying to get him to imitate, and like moving his extremities and beating on a drum, and like getting him to do jumps with them. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that they do. He goes once a week, and it's a half-hour session each week.
If you call here and say, I have a child with special needs, we don't ask you anything other than, how old is he? What is his problem? Has he been diagnosed? And when can you bring him? We don't say, what is your insurance? What color are you? What religion are you? Doesn't matter. If a kid has a need, we can help, because these kids need and they deserve everything you have to make their life all it can be. I came to Dayton, Ohio in the real early 60s, late 50s, early 60s. There was nothing for handicapped kids back then. I fell in love with these kids and realized that something really needed to be done to help them. We began to use this method that I had written. We tested it. I tested it with all of these specialists to see if we could retrain the brain in any way to reestablish in these kids some means of functioning, whatever they could do to make that child the best he could be. Because each child was different.
Come on. Let's do.
Now we're dealing with autistic kids. All of a sudden we have this fluctuation of autistic kids. We don't know what causes it. We don't know exactly what can help them, but we do know that AIM helps them.
Kids that have autism, they don't give a lot of eye contact. They don't want to interact with other kids. They have a lot of sensory needs, but you typically see all different kinds of autism. There isn't just one typical autism kid. We have a lot of nonverbal and verbal kids.
Today, from this building at AIM, in just this area, we serve about 3,000 kids. Kellan is Kellan. He's the most beautiful child I ever saw. Two brothers, three of the best looking boys in town. He loves his teacher. He loves Margaret, but not nearly as much as Margaret loves him.
He brightens my day, so I look forward to Fridays. He's my second kid on Friday, so he's an awesome kid. His smile just like brightens your heart.
I think you're going to see this kid develop, and I think you're going to see him become a child who knows how to take instructions. I think you're going to see a child who learns how to obey, and I think you're going to see a child who can actually learn some kind of a vocation in life. That's our goal for him.
Kellan's grown a lot. So he started in summer of 2017. I would say no eye contact with me a lot. And now he gives me, like one time we had a session and it was at least 2 to 3 minutes of eye contact straight and not like looking away at all. He moves his head up and down with me with the mirror. He looks like side to side and does a maybe so with his head. Puts his arms up and down. He goes side to side a lot. He does front and back. And then pushing and pulling his feet, something we work on every week, and he does it. So that's pretty cool to see.
I would not dare to say what all he could be. I wouldn't even attempt to that. But if I was going to write in his folder, I would say great progress ahead for this kid, because he has parents who care. He has us who love him and who care. When he starts in school and is there every day in first grade and second grade, hopefully, dear God, he has a teacher who cares. That's what'll make the difference. People who love him.
The scariest thing for us is the future. You know, right now you deal with it. I mean, he's 4 years old, so you know he's a lovable little boy most of the time. You know, he's mostly happy.
My kids, I mean, I just am so proud of them and love them so much, and just hope that they are able to get what they need in life and be happy. That's the ultimate goal, is for them to be happy.
As we were dealing with Kellan's autism diagnosis, at the same time Kathy was pregnant again with our third son, Hayden. And what nobody told us at the time, once you have one child with autism, the risk of having another goes up to about 15%.
He is all about mommy, and I love that. He loves the snuggles too, and he's just his own little person already at 2 years old. Yeah, I'm interested to see how he's going to turn out, what's coming for him. But he's just a stinker and so smart already.
He's nonverbal. He doesn't talk. He makes sounds, but again, he is not talking, which is concerning. He right now is in speech therapy with the same woman who told us to get Kellan diagnosed. And she just recently, within the last month, suggested that we get Hayden tested as well.
You know, for Pat, I just feel so lucky to have him walking this road with me. I just can't imagine doing it with anyone else. He's been just amazing. He has stepped up, and it's definitely like a partnership with us. He's definitely in it 50-50 with me. I mean, he takes on so much of it. So for him, I just love him, and I'm thankful for him.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without Kathy. You know, she changed her, she works every other weekend now. She works at the hospital as a social worker, so she can always be with the kids, and she takes them to, Kellan has therapies twice a week. So she makes sure all that stuff gets done. Yeah, she's been the rock for sure. I couldn't do it.